Hello, here we are. Hi. It's been 30 minutes of troubleshooting, so me and Jesse had to collect our energy a little bit beforehand. How are you, Jess?
I'm so good. It's a beautiful day out. I have Willow sat with me, and I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Me too. So, this episode is something that's been on my heart for a really long time because sacred sisterhood is something that I feel like I've cultivated in a way that has exceeded my highest manifestations. And I want to share that with the world. And I feel like who better to do this episode with me than my first ever best friend. So I'm really excited that you're here. Jessie is my little sister and we have been besties since she popped out of the womb back in
Mhm.
2001. Um, and yeah, and I'm really excited to get into this. This is the Me&You podcast, by the way. This is a safe place on the internet for all things personal evolution and self-reflection. I am your host, Rebecca, and I'm so excited to be here in this Galentine's episode.
Yeah.
And I've done so many Galentine's things already with my girls that I just feel so like I'm really feeling the love this year. Like it feels so good. So yeah. Anything you want to say before we get started?
I'm just really excited to have this conversation, and I'm really grateful to have a platform to have these conversations that reach people who otherwise maybe don't have a community to hear/have these conversations.
Yeah, that's so true.
hmm
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk about this for maybe for people who feel like they don't have sacred sisterhood or like sacred connection or friendships in their life or like a community that they feel anchored into and to kind of like start to bring this into their space and show them that it's capable in their life if they want it. Also, I want to say that this conversation about sisterhood and about female friendships on a whole expands to literally everybody that is in a female body or that identifies as a female. This is not like a gate kept conversation of like only women born women. I just want to make sure that we set the precedent for that beforehand, that this is not an exclusive space. You are more than welcome to come and be with us, and you are divine in your femininity. And I'm so excited to bask in that together. So, yeah.
Certainly.
Okay, so I want to start by talking about what is sisterhood and how do friendships live inside of us? Because I had heard this quote one of my friends said, and I don't know if it's true, but it feels true. And it was that you are the average of the top 5 people you spend the most time with.
Mm.
So I think there's really something to be said about how friendship lives inside of us. Like it changes us from the inside out. And I want to talk a little bit to you about and kind of like, buzz around these ideas of like, what is sisterhood? What is friendships? How do friendships live inside of you? What is your history with friendships, etc.?
Yeah. Before I say the history of friendships, I wanted to say that I view it kind of as like it's a mirror of what you see in yourself, the worth you see in yourself, and it's also kind of that meeting of halfway of someone bringing a piece of their pie to your pie. Does that make sense? Like the like
Yeah.
assorted cheesecake. It's like they're bringing their slice of the assorted cheesecake to make a whole
Mm-hmm.
cake, and you find through the years that there are some slices that might not fit as much over time. Maybe some will over time, some go bad over time, and some like wine get better over time and grow through. And I think it's about really nurturing that. But I think with my history of friendships, it starts with obviously our sisterhood, which is like a built-in friendship. So that was like my first, obviously, touch point of it. But more so, it was like a camaraderie we had, especially through dance, of like,
Yeah.
no one else can be mean to you except for me. Like, I'm the only one
Mm-hmm.
who can you, but if someone outside of our circle could, like, better
Yeah.
watch out. But
Yeah.
I think that going on from there, it helped me to, I would say, a big turning point for my sort of picking of friendships, picking my selective chosen family, was when I was bullied in like late elementary school. It wasn't like awful level of bullying, but it was like in PE they started a I Hate Jessica club. Like all of the girls, even
Yeah.
one of my friends, by the way, she was a double agent and she said she's my friend, but she was like, I'm only like I have to be in this club. I have to like to sustain these other friendships. Which a friend to all is a friend to none. But that became like the turning point for me of really knowing that it was a conscious decision who I kept around, and sort of the connections I had, especially with women, because I found that I connected so much better. We were always in like female spaces, like dance, cheer, theater, I would even say, even with like the dressing rooms being separated. And I think that over time, it in your like teen years, you have to exercise that muscle of using your discernment to build your sisterhood. And yeah, I would say it really blossomed for me in college, because after high school, I graduated in COVID. I wouldn't say that I had strong enough friendships in high school to carry past that time, past the age of convenience, of like, we're on all our extracurriculars together, our parents are friends. Past that, I felt like I didn't really have that foundation, and I felt very isolated. So I kind of went into like
Mm-hmm.
an opposite of like, I don't want to, no, like I don't want to be friends with people. And then I met my three best friends in college who showed me, like, after the first day we met, everyone says bye and they go, I love you. And I was like you're saying that to me? Like, we met 10 minutes ago. But they started from the very beginning to show me unconditional love, and that has proven, I mean, it's 6 years later, which is honestly insane. But
That is crazy.
yeah, isn't that insane? 6 years, I'm like, geez,
Yeah.
it's going back fast. But that's when I was shown like unconditional love by someone who wasn't family, and by girls who created a
Mm-hmm.
sisterhood. Without judgment, I could tell them anything. And sometimes they would call me out if, I was sort of getting led on the wrong path. And they were my biggest cheerleaders, and they still are to this day. I knew from the day that we moved in together that they would be like my bridesmaids, my kids' godmothers. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that they're like my chosen family. And it almost like came full circle and brought me back to our relationship, I would say. Of like,
Mm-hmm.
I have this sisterhood with girls I haven't even met, and I was like, imagine, like, I mean, I wasn't, these girls that I'm not even related to. I have this sisterhood with these girls I'm not even related to. Imagine what I can have with someone that, like, we chose to go on this journey together long before we were born into this life. And
Yes.
yeah, I feel like that, like, growth has forced me to take a hard look at our relationship and be like, we have this beautiful plot of land to plant these wonderful seeds on, the most beautiful sunshine, the best water, and all we have to do is become the farmers and like put in the effort to build that relationship with one another even more, because we already have like a natural friendship, obviously. But that, even with
Yeah.
that, it comes like to having difficult conversations and working through things of what's stopping us from being close here, how can we build here, where's the miscommunication. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the epitome of like sisterhood, is
Mm-hmm.
because if you think about being a sister, it is taking care of one another. So bringing that into
Mm-hmm.
adulthood is that
Mm-hmm.
amplified of not like, I think your outfit's ugly, having a difficult conversation about an ugly outfit in high school. Now it's like, let's have a difficult conversation about how I think maybe you can conduct yourself better in this sort of scenario. So
Yeah.
yeah, but that was a long
Yeah.
history. Yeah.
No, I love that because I think it's helpful to share our history. So we obviously are sisters. And we shared a room growing up, and we were like the purple and pink sisters. Like, like one had the same thing just in another color. We were
Sure.
always matching at events because our mom always dressed us the same. We did a bunch of extracurricular activities together. So there was like forced closeness as well. Like, we shared a bedroom, and then we went to dance together, and we danced all the time together. And then we were in cheer together, and we were in theater
Yeah.
together. Yep, we were eating dinner, all of our meals together. There was just so much like forced closeness. The relationship between us really set the pace for the relationships of other female friendships that I had throughout my life. And I found a lot of healing in our relationship when I healed my connection to other women. And
Mm-hmm.
it was like, I think that's because I was able to explore new parts of myself around other people who didn't know me yet. So I could make myself into something new. And then I could take that new version back to, like you said, this land that we had, that we could like grow and till and take care of and eventually harvest from. But to do that, we had to take in these like new seeds that I like outsourced from new places, because we were always close in the sense that like you said, like when we were in dance, it was like no one can make fun of you but me. Like, I'll make fun of you all day long in front of everyone, but if anybody
Mm-hmm.
else jumps in, I'm gonna fight them basically. And I have written down in preparing for this episode how family is kind of like, I don't need to know you to love you, but
Yeah.
friendship is like, I know you and that's why I love you. Like, and what I mean by that is like, in a lot of ways, my family doesn't know everything about me. Like, they don't know like the tea of my relationships and like the ins and outs and all of that, but they don't need to know all of it to love me. Like, that doesn't matter. That's not part of it. But like for friends, they know every single part of you and they love you because of that, because they know all those things. And that's just like a really powerful kind of love. And it's different. They're both really powerful. They're just different kinds of loves. And I think that we growing up had the I don't need to know you to love you love, but
Yeah.
now we also have the I know you and I love you love. We have
Yeah.
both. And that's like amazing and that's so safe. And I just really echo that same feeling of like my relationship with you got stronger when I was closer to other women. But
Yeah.
also, like, my history of friendship too is like I growing up always felt super left out, especially because I was like the only person of color in my circle of friends. So the racial component felt very real to me. Even back in elementary school, I was very aware that I was brown presenting and my friends were white with blonde hair and blue eyes, and they were just all so similar and they all looked so similar. And it felt like they had a sisterhood because of that. Like they could be sisters because they looked so closely related. But like I felt like the odd one out all the way up until middle school. And then when middle school came, it was like weird. It was like a different kind of weird friendship of like the gossipy kind of like wanting to be better than each other, like wanting your friend to do well, but not better than you. That was also in high school. And I don't think that I formed really like thriving, healthy female relationships until college and beyond. Like, I would
Right.
say now at this point in my life, I have the healthiest version of friendships. My friendships now are so fun. They're deep. Like when the girls get together, like we sit for hours and we talk about life and we talk about our fears and our hopes and our dreams and the most miscellaneous things ever, all the way to the deepest, like depths of the world. And there's just like so much space to be all of it. And that kind of connection everyone deserves. Like I feel healed and I feel charged after I
Mm.
spend time with them. I feel like I've literally been plugged into a wall and like super magnificent energy has risen through that charging port and has electrified my entire being. That's literally how I feel after I hang out with my friends. And when I had that experience with my friends, it was exactly what you said of like, wow, I have this with my friends and I already have this relationship with my little sister that is so beautiful, but could use work in some places. And I see now how I can bring that love into here, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how our bond has created a version of sisterhood because we're close with each other and we are used like we're girls, like we're very like
Yeah.
we're just very girls. Like we've been like
Right.
that since we were little kids.
Yeah.
And that kind of came through my other relationships, but then once I could blossom in those relationships, I feel like that fed back into this relationship,
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely
you
like
know?
a infinity sort of sign. And I would say
Yeah.
even for something I struggled with, I don't know why, but like the physical touch sort of love, like non an intimacy in a non-sexual way with just another person, whether man or woman or whoever, but especially with women, that was something that was not, it didn't exist for me until college, until my friends would literally come and cuddle with me, and when we were sad we'd put on a movie and we'd sit together, we'd share a blanket, even just sharing food out of the same bowl. Those were things in my friendships that didn't exist, particularly with mom and dad, like, yes, but that was about it, and in my romantic relationship. And I think that healed a part of me to be like, oh, this is a closeness I can have, not just with my
Yeah.
partner. And I obviously do have that closeness with my partner, but how fulfilling is it to have in another way, like with other people too, who I have this heart closeness and I can express it in this physical
Mhm.
way. That was honestly foreign to me. I would say in the beginning I was a little uncomfortable with it, like with my friends in college. Not like they were crossing boundaries,
No,
but
same. Yeah.
when my other friends do it, I'm like, what in the world? Like I was low key like, this is some white girl shit. But eventually
Oh
over
my
time,
god.
because of that whole community thing that we were talking about, but over time I realized
Mhm.
that it's a shared intimacy and safety. And now
Mhm.
it's you see me with Jillian. I touch her hair the whole time when we're hanging out, like, and that's something that I feel like we brought to our relationship. Slash, we both want to have more in our relationship,
Mhm.
over
Mhm.
time. But yeah,
Yeah,
even
the
that physical
physical
touch
touch
is
is so true because I feel like for me, like me and you didn't have physical touch growing up. Like we hugged. I'm
only one.
sure hugging happened.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
I said there was only one type of touch between us for
Oh my
teenage.
god, yeah, and it was fighting for sure. But yeah, we definitely had our blowouts, honestly. But like physical touch with my friends just wasn't like a regular thing. And when it was super uncomfortable for me. Like I was like, I really don't like this. Like this is making me feel weird and I can't differentiate the kinds of touch and I don't like that. But
Yeah.
now with my friends, we literally like you said, like we cuddle. Like there's also something so intimate about like eating food out of the same bowl or like I have one friend who like one time we were like all in a group talking and she literally like puts her legs around me from behind and has like wrapped her whole body
Yeah.
around mine. And like we're sitting there and I'm like holding her hands against my heart and like it is so platonic and so safe. Oh my God, 10 years ago, I would have been like, whoa, 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 back up. Whoa, take me on a date first. Like, it would have made me so uncomfortable. But now I feel so like loved. Like, it's such a safe way to connect. Even like laying in the same bed together would make me so uncomfortable in female friendships. And now I love to cuddle and like lay with each other and share the blanket and like our feet touch and it's not weird. And yeah, I don't know. I want to talk about friendship wounds and how to heal those because I think we've both had friendship wounds of being left out and of feeling ostracized or feeling like alienated from the main
Yeah.
group. And we also grew up in very catty atmospheres because, as beautiful as female friendships are able to be, they're also like, there can be another side of it that is catty, gossipy, exclusionary. And that shit, oh my god, it's for the birds. Like, I will never be a part of anything like that ever again. I've left that behind. But those wounds do sit with me sometimes. And it's not until recently that I feel like I've fully healed them enough to like be able to reverse them. For example, the other day, in one of my group chats with my girls, like I had sent an audio and then like a day or so went by and nobody had responded to it. And in the past, I would have got passive aggressive. I would have like made me even left the group chat, honestly, like just been so petty. And instead, I sent a message and was like, hey guys, like not to be that girl, but I sent an audio and I don't know if it went through. Can you guys like check to see if you got it or anything like that? Because I wasn't sure if it had gone through because my phone be tweaking. And I was just able to, like, speak up and, like, just, like, get that reassurance, like, ask for that reassurance, and, like, sometimes I think we don't ask for what we need in friendships or in relationships because we think we don't deserve it, but these spaces have healed me so much, and I just wanna take a moment because I know this conversation is very, like, female, 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 like, female friendships, female closeness, like, this kinda closeness I don't witness between men. Like, I don't like the way that women are so close. And like, guys, stay tuned because I recorded an episode yesterday about male friendships and I cannot wait. That's next week's episode. But I don't see this kind of closeness echoed between men. And it makes me sad because I feel so rejuvenated after I hang out with my women. Like, I feel like they have seen the deepest parts of me and they have reflected them back with wholehearted love and sanctuary. And I don't have that with the men that I had in my life. I've always felt sexualized or objectified around them. Or the male friendships that I watch, even the closest ones don't seem to scratch the level that I go to with even some of my like newest of girlfriends. And it makes me sad. Like, I'm like, you guys are missing out, but I don't even think you know. What'd you say, Jess?
Sorry, the only place men experience that type of intimacy is in a relationship with a
Hmm.
woman. Jolie,
Or
like,
in sports.
with the doors closed, with the locker room doors closed. Yeah, or like pretending to wrestle, like to get that physical touch. I'm like, we know. I see you. They turn their head, they're like, and then they keep wrestling. Like, I know what you're doing.
Literally. Yeah, though, because like you said, they don't only place they get that is with in a relationship with a woman, and it's like, how deprived must that feel of closeness and connection? But we're so clearly afraid of coming off as gay that you can't, it's not safe enough to have that kind of closeness with someone. And I also, and this is something that I talked about in the conversation yesterday with the person that I had on about male friendships, that like women are super sexualized because men sexualize them, but men are so sexualized. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how sad must it be to move through your whole life thinking that physical touch is only sexual, that you can't hug your friend and hold him when he cries because that is perceived as sexual in your brain, because the only type of real intimate touch you know is through sex. That's so sad. And like, not sad like, ooh, pity you, like sad like, I want more for you. There's more out there that I don't even think you know to want, you
And
know?
that's a lot of men's love language is sex. Like they say their love language is sex, physical touch, touching intimacy, intimately. It's because that's all they know. That's the extent of where it goes. They think they're at the edge of a cliff and they're going to fall off when they say that, and they don't realize there's a whole forest like beyond that. They think it's
Mm,
that, and they don't. They there's no safe way for them to explore that right now, I would say. And someone would
mhm.
have to be the first one or first ones to do it and, bite the bullet of whatever other men making fun of them. But it is something that needs to be normalized, because honestly, people have talked about like the male loneliness epidemic. If there is that, there is a way to solve that too. And that is to open
Yes.
up and allow for that kind of connection and intimacy. But
Yeah.
I understand why
Yeah.
it's like, well, I don't want to, so.
Yeah, I understand. So to kind of bring us back, because I wanted to give that disclaimer, because I know that this may sound like I'm just very careful of the binary. Like I'm very conscious of like the specific language we use around this, but it does feel worth talking about just because I notice that women are closer with each other than men are. And there's a type of closeness happening here that's like, it's like life-giving, like it's actually healing in a way that is substantial. Like I think it's adding years onto my life type shit. And
Absolutely.
for that reason, it feels like men, like, y'all need to get in on this. Like, you guys need this too, but I mean, obviously I'm not going to force it. But anyway, so I want to talk about friendship wounds. And we know the wounds. The wounds are, they're talking about you when you walk out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want you here. They invited you last minute. They invited you on accident. They invited you because someone canceled. They only want you here because you bring monetary or physical gain of some kind. Maybe you're the one who supplies the food, or you're the one who pays for the dinner, or you know what I mean? Like there's that wound, right? That like you're being talked about when you're not around, and that they have a different perception of you when you're not in the space.
Mm-hmm.
How do you heal those wounds? And how have you healed those wounds?
Honestly, the best way that I healed them is by trying again. And trying again in the sense of not putting my walls up and allowing myself to explore another friendship. Because
Mhm.
it's so easy to say, like, I was bullied in middle school, parts of high school, mainly by men in high school, but still those friendships in those programs, I was bullied, I was bullied,
Mhm.
and okay, so that's that. I'm going to put my walls up. And I did do that. I actually did do that during COVID, and I saw you and I saw Ryan and our family,
Yeah.
and that was, and I was fulfilled in our relationship. But at one point you went back to college, and I was there.
Oh, and you were so sad.
Ryan was working, and I was completely alone. And it wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not okay being alone, because I love taking myself on dates and things like that. But it was like there wasn't even the option. There wasn't even the illusion of
Mhm.
choice. And so even my freshman year of college, oh my gosh, I isolated myself so much because I didn't get cast in any shows. I was one a half of a black person in my program, let alone a black girl. There
Mhm.
were full black guy, one black girl, and then mixed race me. And that was it in our program, like in our class. And
Mhm.
I really struggled with that. I struggled with the resentment of that too, of like, oh my God, what are we doing? It wasn't until, honestly, the girls kind of snuck their way into my heart. I was like, wow, this, like, there was a part of me that was like, wait, are they talking about me? But then I was like, what if I tested the waters, like, I dipped my toe in, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, wow, this is what you guys, like, always feel, and this is the community you bring, and now I'm excited to go to school, and I did not like school like that, but I'm excited to go to my classes to see these people, to almost, like, get a hit of it again, like, this, like, friendship and this camaraderie and this community and confiding.
Mhm. Mhm.
Eventually I let myself just fully go. I let myself fully leap into it, and those are literally some of my they are my closest friends besides,
Mhm.
my childhood friend.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say let yourself trust again. And love is very complex. Platonic love even is very complex because the only way you get better or you get more is by trying again and trying again and not
Mhm.
trying again. It's not trying the same thing with the same person because, that's a definition of insanity. Trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. But bringing who you are, taking that template of who you are and trying it with another person and seeing if the puzzle pieces fit. And eventually you will
Mhm.
find people to where it fits with whoever they might be, wherever they might be. My people live
Mhm.
a 3 hour flight away from me. We're still on the same coast, thankfully, right now. I mean, one of them sometimes is in the middle of the ocean, but my people
Yeah.
are that far away, but it's worth it for me to make that effort because I found, gold. I had to mine a lot, but eventually I found the gold.
I feel like for me, it was two things. One, yielding trust
Yeah.
because I learned that trust has everything to do with me and much less to do with the person on the receiving end of it. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to walk through life being a trusting person. I want to walk through life being a trusting person because that gives me greater ease in my heart. Not necessarily because everyone is trustworthy, but because I don't want to live a life where I'm premeditating someone's inauthenticity. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move through life being very trusting. But the second that someone shows me their true colors, I'm not going to repaint them. Right. So, like, I feel like there's this idea that like you can be too trusting and that is what gets you hurt. But I don't believe that. I think you can be unlimitedly trusting, but when someone shows you their true colors, you need to be discerning. And that's when discernment comes in to change what you're allowing in your space. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I started to get to a place of just unyielding trust of like, okay, these friends I'm making, I'm going to trust that they're not talking about me when I'm not in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get an inkling that they are, or I find out that they are, then I'm going to believe that. And I'm not going to rewrite that. And I'm not going to like, of course, I'll give them a chance to explain themselves. Like, I'll talk about it. I'll bring it up in person or whatever. But like, I would rather move through the world with a trusting and open heart and trust that someone will show me their true intentions and I can believe them, whether that's really good or really not good. And that has given me a lot of freedom in the kinds of friendships that I've made now, and honestly in my romantic relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because I no longer walk around in fear of being cheated on. Because if my partner's gonna cheat on me, if they're gonna cheat on me, like I can't control that. But what I can control is my trust and then my discernment. So if I find out something, believing it and moving forward with that discernment, that person doesn't deserve to be in my space anymore. So that was the first way that I healed that wound. And the second way that I healed it, and I talked about this in an episode a couple weeks ago, is that the only way you can find true love is to be truly yourself. So the more I am me, the more I can find careers, friends, lovers, jobs, passions. The list is endless that actually align with me. But if I'm not truly myself, I won't be able to find true friendship because
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not cultivating what I want reflected outside of me. So if I'm a disingenuous version of myself, if I'm hiding parts of myself or I'm inauthentic to my true vision within, then I'm going to cultivate that in the external realm. I'm going to cultivate that around me. But if I'm true to myself, if I know that I'm moving with integrity, with love, with trust, with gratitude, with sincerity, I know I'm going to attract that and I can trust that my friends are mirroring that. And I would
Mm-hmm.
say that that is how I healed those friendship wounds because I just one day, like you said, I had to just take a leap of faith and be like, not everyone is going to gossip about you. Like, not everyone is going to talk poorly about you when you're not in the room or judge you or be mean to you. Like, there are sincere people out there, and I know there are sincere people because I'm one of them. And if
Mm-hmm.
I exist, I know others do too. And like it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy that I created for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped me genuinely to make I mean, I have some of the most life-giving friendships. I mean, my
Mm-hmm.
girls like they are so embedded in my heart and my soul. They are so embedded in my decision making. They are so embedded in the hope that I have in the world. Good friendships remind us that good people exist and that goodness can happen. And we
Yeah.
need that. More
Right
than
now.
anything, we need that right now. We need to believe that there is good. And when you have these good, wholesome, deep connections with others, it heals a part of you that is wounded and scared of the external world and everything going on in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And also, I think the sensitivity, for me, I am very sensitive. And it's something that
Yeah.
I try to hide away a lot in my friendships and in my
Yeah.
life. But the sensitivity I have made me sensitive to the energy around me and kind of sensitive, almost like a whale call in the water, kind of sensitive to other sensitive beings. And it made me it helped me to find my relationships rather than being like, all right, I need to thicken my skin. Like, okay, some friends are just going to be mean to me and play mean, especially in high school. We were all very mean to each other. And eventually
Mhm.
that's why I tucked away a lot. I didn't want to be made fun of when I was hanging out with my friends anymore. I didn't want to be
Yeah.
the butt of the joke. I didn't want, especially if like one of us got something, like I got something the other person wanted, then that they're sort of lashing out by like joking about these things that's very personal things to me. And
Mhm.
I tried to hide that away for a long time. But it's courageous to move
Yeah.
with that sensitivity and to try again, even when you wear your heart on your sleeve, whether you do or you don't, but to try again to find those friendships. And eventually you will find your people over time. And that it's healing then to have those relationships and have that trust and multiply your circle and keep building your circle or keep your circle small, whatever you're looking for. But it can be very healing, yeah.
I wanna, like, spend some time on that, like, competitive streak in friendships, especially when you are growing up in a competitive field. Like, so we were in competitive dance, but I know that it could be the same if you were in soccer and you were on a soccer team, or if you were on a hockey team, or if you were on a lacrosse team, or if you were in a choir or whatever, where, like, you're friends, but you're competing, like, they're happening at the same time, you wanna be the best. And you had said that sometimes maybe you got something that someone else didn't. So, like, let's say you got a role in the play that somebody else didn't. That
Yeah.
competition wound, and it's same. I mean, I have endless stories of that. And like, I remember one time I was in high school, and I remember when I went to high school, I didn't wanna be in cheer right away. Like, I wanted to join cheer my sophomore year and not my freshman year, because I just wanted to, like, adapt to high school first. So, a lot of my friends were in cheer, and they were on the junior varsity team because they were freshmen, they were underclassmen. And then as an underclassman, I auditioned, what's it called? I tried out for the cheer team, and I got the varsity team as an underclassman. And one of my friends, who was also an underclassman and had already been on junior varsity, tried out and got on junior varsity again. She didn't make it onto varsity. And when the list came out, the list of who was on what team and who made it and whatever came out, I saw it and I pretended that I didn't see it because I didn't want to hurt this friend's feelings, because the friend said to me, "Have you seen that list yet?" And I said, "Oh no, I haven't." So then finally someone brought up the list and it came up that they did not make varsity and I made varsity. And they turned to me and said, "How could you make varsity, but I didn't?" And the way that she said it was so pointed and just like, "You're no better than me. Like, how could you do this?" There was no happiness for me. There was no like, "Oh, I'm happy for you, but really sad for myself." Like, it was just like clear cut competition. And those wounds always lived inside of me, especially as someone who was raised in competitive dancing, where like, you are literally raised to compete against your friends. We're in a team, but more importantly, like, you want to place that solo. If you can place your solo in the top 10 and be number 1 or 2 or 3 and your friend is number 4 or 5 or 6, that's like the best case scenario, which is like so sad to think about, that like that was part of our developing years, that thought process. But that competitive wound, like, it lives inside. And I feel like a way that I healed that is like understanding that we each have our own unique, beautiful gifts to offer into the world. The brightness of someone's light does
Mm-hmm.
not dim your own. If anything, we're just shining together. And that took a lot of healing for me. And I don't think that healing came until probably college or post college, honestly. But I did have to step away from being in fields where I was close with other dancers because of the competitive streak that would rise inside of me. Like, I was not like innocent in all this. Like, I was having my own competitive streak and my preying on whoever's downfall, who's also my best friend. Like, absolutely. And that just like hurts my heart. And that's such an evidence of a wound. When you are competitive with someone or you're jealous of someone, that's just evidence of something that you want for yourself. It's not something that you need to give into and be harsh to someone else about, or like hate on someone else for having. Especially, like, if your friends got something that you wanted, that just means that that thing is close to you. So, like,
Yeah.
let's say you really want to get a job where you're making 3 figures a year. You've been working at that, but your friend ends up getting a job where they're making 3 figures a year. That's all happiness. Like, that their joy is your joy. Like, a joy shared is a joy doubled. Like, we can both bask in that, and you can find relief knowing that that energy is close to you. So that energy of making 3 figures a year is in your sphere because someone you know has already done it. So it's possible. It's possible for you. It doesn't have to be
Mm,
something that you compare and take away from. It could be something that you see and double.
definitely. I remember, I would say that healing actually came for me. You said you had to step away kind of from that competitive field to find it. For me, I found it in the field
Mhm.
because in college, my roommates were all theater majors, all four of us, and all of us were auditioning for all the shows, sometimes often auditioning for the same roles, getting called back for the same roles. And I remember when we all auditioned for this one show and we were all like taking naps or something and the cast list came out and we shot up, like everyone shot up out of bed because we all had our phone ringers on because we wanted to hear, when it was going to come out. Out of the whole apartment, I was the only one in this show in particular. It's been different every single show, but I was the only one who got the role that I wanted and like the lead that I wanted. That meant that one of the other girls in the apartment didn't get that part. They got the understudy for that role. Or did they get the understudy? They auditioned for the same. We auditioned for the same role. She didn't get the role. She got a different role, or she was an ensemble. I can't remember. But I remember when I woke up, everyone ran out into the like common area, into the kitchen, and before they could say like, I got this or I didn't get this, they saw my name first on the list and immediately reacted and came and uplifted me and we were jumping in a circle and I called my mom. They
Oh.
were so happy for me. And it wasn't they celebrated me so much I didn't even know they didn't get what they wanted. Like
Ugh.
it wasn't even it was an afterthought, not that my consideration for them was an afterthought, but then I was like, what did everyone else get? Like, oh my gosh, let's look at everything else. And they were like, oh, I got this, I got this. And then they felt their feelings. But
Mhm.
they put those feelings aside for a second just to celebrate me. And honestly, before that moment, I don't know if I would have been able to do that for them. I love
Yeah.
them, but I don't know if I would have been able to make that almost like sacrifice for a moment to pause what I'm going through to show up for this person because they've worked so hard for this. And I know
Mhm.
that I'll get to my feelings. I know that they will get to my feelings too. And I did. After that, I went and I laid in bed with Jillian and we talked about things. And in the future, the same thing happened, vice versa. And I was jumping up and down for Jillian when she got the lead she wanted in the prom. And that show, I was hurt that I didn't get what I wanted, but that wasn't my main priority in that exact moment because
Yeah.
my friendship with them is more important than maybe pouting about not getting something I didn't want. And that's
Yeah.
because we built that bridge of trust, you know?
And that's such a sign of friendship, to
Mm-hmm.
where they were able to, like, see that you were celebrating this thing and celebrate that with you, and then afterwards, there was room for their emotions too. Like, it wasn't just like, "We're just gonna put our feelings to the side forever and, like, just celebrate Jess and never talk about how this was sad for us." Like, we can do both. We can, like, celebrate this thing that went so well for you while also being like, "Man, I'm really sad this didn't work out for me." And, like, that is true friendship. True friendship is that whole expression. It's not just one or the other. It's like both. There's room and enough space for both of our feelings. The space keeps growing. The capacity keeps growing. There's just like endless room for that. But I want to talk about best friend, because I think best friend is an interesting term that is becoming outdated, or I would like for it to become outdated. And here's my petition for that. I used to think of best friend as this person was the best out of all the friends you had. So, like, you have your friends, but then there's like the top. And like that person is like the best friend. But now I'm starting to consider that best friend could mean that a person exemplifies the best qualities of what a friend is. So I have multiple best friends. And I mean it, like best friends. Like, I would like call them if I was in jail, or I would like call them like to save my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that these people in their own unique way exemplify the best qualities of what it means to be a friend. But I used to think of best friend as like a hierarchy, and like the best was on the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had my best friend, my soulmate friend, and then all the rest trickled down. And I realized that that wasn't leaving room for the nuance of all the other kinds of friendships that I was cultivating. And that even though maybe I knew someone for years, that didn't necessarily qualify them as a better friend than other people. It just meant that by happenstance, we have more history. But I'm noticing that this person has some of the best qualities in a friend I've ever noticed or seen or experienced or had. So
Mhm.
I'm interested to know your thoughts on that, of this idea of like best friend. And like maybe best friend is not the best of the friends, but it's the best qualities that a friend can be. And you can have multiple best friends.
I think that each friend plays a different role and
Mm
plays a different role in you, just like you play a different role in their life. Then just how, for example, Jillian plays a different role in my life than you play a different role in my life, then Mom plays a different role, but you all are my best friends.
hmm. Mm hmm.
Because just like we were talking about earlier, you don't know everything Jillian knows. Mom doesn't know
Mm hmm.
everything you know. God, no. You don't know everything Mom knows. Vice versa. I think that there's a balance in that. I don't think that there's anyone in your friendship who needs to know every single thing. I'm not saying that.
Wait, you broke up for a brief second. You said you don't think that everyone needs to know every single thing?
I don't think, yeah, there's someone in a friendship who needs to know every single thing. There can be, it's not like you're withholding information, but I think that I think that it allows for different insights. You know,
Mm
just how I said I'm a sensitive person. Maybe if you need something with more sensitivity, if you're like, I'm writing this email, and that's not to say we use our friends just for things, but an example is I'm writing this email, you know, but I want to be sensitive to this thing that this person is going through. Maybe you talk to me about it, or you know, this person for this thing. But it was like in elementary school, like today I think my best friend is so and so, and that's just sort of a childlike thing
It
because
feels
when
like a childish view of friendship. Like I feel like like a grown up view of friendship is recognizing that there's like we all offer such different qualities, and like one quality isn't better than the next. It's like it all comes together to make a whole. So like
yeah,
it's like we all add different ingredients, but we need every single ingredient to make this pie. Like it's not just like one ingredient is the best of all the ingredients. Like this ingredient is only going to work so well because of this ingredient added in there too, you know?
yeah, well, I think that's because kids don't understand
Mhm.
facetedness of things. Things are very singular as a child, you
Mhm.
know? Why can't I eat another slice of cake because I told you so? Like, you know, it's
Mhm.
very, that's it. But when you step into adulthood, you see all the different shapes and colors that there are for each
Yes.
relationship.
So much nuance.
Yeah, yeah, and I used to be offended by like I'm your best friend, but they're also your best friend. Like you can't have both of those things. I would say I don't even use the term best friend anymore. I would say I use my very close friend. Honestly, I use my sister. I use like my girl instead because it feels like it is, like you said, very hierarchical, whatever that word is. There's a hierarchy
Mhm.
to the system, and I don't think that should exist in friendships. I think all of my friends are my best friends because they're the best. Like, and they're the best
Because
for me.
they're the best. They exemplify the best quality of a friend. Like they have the best version of that. And like I have multiple best friends, and I mean it with every fiber of my being. Like there's no hierarchy. Before we close out, I would love to read some passages from my manifestation journal. So this is my manifestation journal here. If you don't have the physical component, if you're just like listening on Apple or Spotify, I'm holding up my manifestation journal, which I've talked about in so many episodes. It's essentially like a very tailored, specific journal to things that I want to call into my life. So this page that I'm holding here is about sacred sisterhood. And I probably wrote this back in 2022. So this has been a long time coming. And I would say only in the past year or so have I really found the full expression of this manifestation. But I think it's a beautiful jumping off point for anyone that is looking for the words that they want to find these friendships,
Mm-hmm.
or just to kind of hear how friendships can look or how closeness between your loved ones can look. I don't know. But I really want to share this. So I'm just going to go ahead and read some passages from it. Sacred moments in nature with my sweet sister. Eating from all my senses with yummy food, enriching scenery, and good company. We journal, nourish ourselves, vent, hold space, and ground together. We seek sanctuary in one another, a safe space to express ourselves, energy that reflects and uplifts my own. I'm thankful for sacred sisterhood. We create and bask in beauty together. We read poetry and blow bubbles. We dance within the rhythm of the wind. I'm grateful to feel so seen and heard. Thank you for showing me that I mattered to you. I'm grateful for spiritual, deep, reciprocated, loving, kind, consciously aware, creative, and grounding friendships. At the time I wrote this, I did not have that in my life. But now reading it here in 2026, I have every single bit of this and more. I'm enchanted by each other's embrace, free to unwind, moments to gaze at the clouds, to remember our infinity. I feel a closeness with you solely accompanied by safety, trust, and unconditional love. I am creating a calm and balanced life for myself that is reflected in my friendships. I really feel like that speaks to the cultivating something from within and how you create it you create it outside of you over time. Grateful for moments submerged in I'm grateful for moments submerged in laughter and company of loved ones. I'm thankful for unyielding love. We sit in the beauty of nature and rejoice in one another's presence. I am so grateful to have such abundant love in my life.
That feels like a journal entry now more than like a manifestation. Like that feels like
Isn't that
a
so funny?
your like hangouts with your friends.
Yeah, it does. It feels like I wrote that like right after being with my friends like 2 weeks ago. And I wrote that probably in like 2021, maybe 2022. And none of that existed in my life. I didn't have that version of closeness with literally anybody. And now I can name more than a handful of people I have that kind of closeness with. And I don't think I would have ever had that closeness with another person had I not cultivated it from within.
And taking that risk, definitely.
Yeah.
High risk, high reward.
So yeah, high risk, high reward, definitely. So with that being said, I think that concludes our beautiful episode of Sacred Sisterhood, of healing friendship wounds, of loving yourself so that other people can love you too and you can accept love from others. And I thank you so much for being on this episode with me, Jess. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'm so happy to finally have come on and had this conversation. Hopefully many more in the future, and we just continue to grow our sisterhood and our friendship and relationship.
I hope so too. And I agree. And we had a conversation like a little while ago where we felt like hiccups were existing in our relationship to one another and how we can like iron that out to have a safer, more connected relationship with each other. And I feel like that's exactly what we're doing. So I'm just so proud of us.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like that's mature to have those uncomfortable conversations. Sure. Also, we never talked about Sierra Farrell Gate, but that's a story for another day.
Oh my God, Sierra Farrell Gate. We can't talk about that because Mom listens to this. Yeah, we'll have to. Sierra Farrell Gate will come up in time. Essentially, me and Jesse went to a Sierra Farrell concert and some Farrell stuff happened. No, I'm just kidding. But so this is Jesselynn. She writes her own music and she also does covers on her TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. And she's wildly talented. Jess, if you want to plug any of your social media handles or anything else, please feel free.
On all platforms, I am thejesselynn. I'm actually vlogging today, so you will see this on my YouTube. I post 4 times a day on TikTok, and I am very active on Instagram as well. I keep myself busy and keep out for new music in March 2026, so this year. Coming out very soon.
Yay! Yeah, so exciting. Wait, you said something though that you said you're the Jesselynn everywhere, but is there an underscore? Is there anything like that?
I don't think so.
You gotta check.
No, on Instagram, thejesselynn, on TikTok, thejesselynn, and on TikTok, and on YouTube, jesselynn222.
Nice.
Because I got it on me.
Okay.
I got it on me.
Awesome. All right. Guys, thank you so much for listening. This is your sign to bask in the closeness and wonderfulness of your friendships. And if you don't feel like you have that, start creating it from within and take a leap of faith. And I promise that it's there on the other side. Okay. I love you. And I love you, Jess. And I hope that you all have a beautiful, beautiful day and rest of your week. Bye.